Hey everyone, welcome back to Callie and Beans Books. I'm Brittany, and it is time for my May book corner. I did not physically read a book this month, but I have been listening to audiobooks, so kind of counts. So I've been rereading some books in the form of listening to them in the audiobooks. I've only read one new book this month, and it was a sequel, which I'll get into. Otherwise, I've been in the mood to reread some things, so that's what I've been doing. So the first book that I've finished in the month of May is All the Stars and Teeth by Adalyn Grace, and I did keep my rating at 4.5. Re-listening to it, I was able to fully understand the magic system a little bit better. The first time I read it, it was very like hit or miss. There's a lot of things that I felt like I was missing from the magic system, but re-listening to it, I felt like everything kind of clicked a little bit more and fell in love with the characters all over again, and getting that big bad was really interesting. The same feelings on the way the ending was, and felt like there were certain things that could have been pushed off to the sequel, but overall I really enjoyed re-listening to it just because I got a lot more out of the story than the first time. I felt like I really rushed through reading it and listening to it, and this time I was able to kind of take a step back and really fully embrace more of the story that I missed the first time. So reaffirmed my 4.5 rating from the first time I read it last year. The second book I listened to was the sequel of All the Stars and Teeth, which is All the Tides of Fate by Adalyn Grace, and I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5. I thoroughly enjoyed the sequel. There were a lot of points where it didn't feel right. Like there was a lot that Amora was going through and a lot that she was kind of working out between the different events of the first one, and there were a lot of moments where her thoughts were just kind of all over the place, and I didn't really agree with where she was going, which set her up to be that character that is flawed, that we don't really like as a main character, but in the end she does make the right decisions. Her hand's kind of forced in certain spots. She's not ready to take on as much as she is. There was some predictability, like I saw the ending coming probably the quarter of the way through the story, like, oh yeah, this is the way it's probably going to end. Sure enough, that's how it did. So there was some predictability to it. But of course we have the characters and their battles with different secrets that are being kept, and the magic being more complicated in this one, and there are still bits and pieces that I was not a huge fan of. Of course I have to be very vague because there's a lot of spoilers that I want to talk about, but feel free to comment below if you have read All the Tides of Fate and want to chat about these spoilers that I'm trying really hard to skirt around. I'd be glad to talk and go through theories and things like that. The next book I listened to was Akotar. I decided to re-listen to this series because I want to jump into A Court of Silver Flames after the wedding, and I feel like the first time I read this I really sped through the series, so there's a lot of bits and pieces that I completely missed, so I kind of want to go back and re-listen to it, and I was right. There were things that I completely forgot about that happened, and little bits and pieces that set up for the next part of the world that I'm really happy that I went through and re-listened to it, and reaffirmed my 5-star rating for Akotar. And I absolutely love the setup of the story, and seeing Farah's character development from the very beginning of Akotar all the way through the series is amazing. I also wrapped up Aquamath as well. That one is now my favorite. I love it. I love from the beginning to the very end, and just seeing the changes of the relationships and how Farah goes from one part of her life into another, and then by the end of it you're just like, what is happening? And it is perfectly done and sets up for an amazing finale with Akotar. I think I have about 5 hours left of this audiobook, and then I'm going to finish up with Echo Fast and then jump into A Court of Silver Flames after the wedding. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't really have a TBR for post-wedding right now, mostly because I'll probably just be coming off of being super excited of finally getting married, and then I might jump back into From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. Right now it's too much of a book that I'm not in the mood to read it yet, but probably after the wedding I'll probably jump back into it and then get caught up on other books that have been on the back of my mind and scattered throughout my office. I still haven't put my shelves back together like I've been wanting to for the last couple months, and it's just been way too busy and an afterthought at this point. So hopefully later this summer I'll be able to get a new bookshelf and reorganize all my books and give you guys a new tour of that. But until next time, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. And head over to Goodreads and Instagram. All of our joint and individual links will be in the description below. And head over to Goodreads to join our book club, our Serpent and Badger book club that posts mostly on Goodreads. Until next time, guys, bye.